Oh, okay, we are live. So do you want to like give a few minutes for more?
Yeah, we're still waiting. Chico is gonna give the opening blessing.
Awesome.
I can message him real quick too.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab some water really quick.
It's a good idea.
Shoot, what did I do? What did I do?
Look at the show.
My man's is something. Ito pa rin.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia, we can see everything on your screen. Can't hear you.
Thanks for letting me know.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, Lydia. Can you hear me?
She's on mute, but she can hear you.
Okay. I just trying to figure out this thing.
Yeah, no, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
No, your face, the camera's faced the other way.
Okay, let me see.
There we go. Oh.
Did
You
I
almost
change
have it. Yeah, you changed it back so we can't see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, no.
How about now?
Now I can see you.
How come I can't see myself? Where do I push?
I don't know. You're on your phone, right?
Yeah.
It might be harder to see yourself on your phone just because the screen's smaller.
Is it just so I should just see the 2020 candidate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Try swiping your screen to get to the next window.
Oh, there you go. Who is
There
that?
you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, this is Chico. I'm on board right now, but I'm also can't get to my screen right now. You guys see me or no? Not...
No.
No, we just see your number right now.
Worst come to worst, Chico, you can always do the prayer still over the phone, but you can get the video. That'd be nice.
Okay, hold on real quick. I'm trying to do it through my Zoom app now, or log into my Zoom.
Okay. Shoot. Where are you at, Gabriel?
I'm right here.
Are you at
Like-
your home? There's a nice picture behind you.
Oh yes, this is my house. And yes, it's painted by Raul Osuna, very talented artist. Beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, so we still waiting for Chico.
I think he's trying to get Zoom to work like the video. I think he just called in on the last time he tried to get in. If you want, Amanda, we can kind of start just explaining things, doing quick intros, and then I can give Chico a call just to have him call in or however he wants to do it.
Yeah, that works. Hey, Leo Senchi Maniavo, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our 2020 candidate Q&A forums for the very first time. Thank you all for being here, all the candidates, all the co-hosts, everybody else who helped put this together, everybody on Facebook. This is a first time thing for us, so we really thank you for all your patience as we work through this. So it's a learning process for us as much as it is for everybody. So we really appreciate everybody taking their time to be here with us today. So I don't know, my name is Amanda Urbina Hunter, and I am a student at the University of Arizona in the College of Public Health. And the other students that are involved we're all a part of a group called the Yaqui Student Alliance that we started up last year, just so we could have a way for Yaqui students to come together and support each other and to be more involved in the community. Marcos, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Like Amanda said, thank you all for being here. This is definitely kind of a really cool moment in history for our tribe, being able to do this online for the first time. I've been in contact with some of you. My name's Marcos Moreno. I was born and raised in New Pascua, lived there my whole life until I went to college. I graduated from Cornell University in 2017, and I'm currently now in my going into my last year of medical school at UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Again, thank you guys all for joining us.
Thank you.
And with that, let me give Chico a call, Amanda. And what I'll do is if he can't get in through Zoom still, I'll just have him call in and he'll do our opening blessing. And then we'll kind of get the show on the road for you guys. Sound good?
He's on his phone right now.
Is he? I can't see him. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Chico, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just trying to get my speaker to work right now. Apologies, I have Zoom on my laptop. I mean, on my iPad. I don't have my iPad with me right now, so I'm trying to use my phone. So I had to download my Zoom apps.
Gotcha.
Could you guys see me right now or hear me? Could you hear me fine?
We can hear you just fine. We don't see your image, but if you can't get it to work, I mean, it's okay. We can. Oh, now we see you.
Okay, can you hear me as well?
Yep. Whenever you're ready, Chico, we thank you for doing this again.
Okay, no problem. Well, first of all, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to start with the opening prayer. I wasn't able to make the last session, and I did hear it later. I did want to thank all of the students, not only students, everybody that's been involved so far to this day, to be able to put such a forum together, especially in these times of crisis with COVID-19 and everything that's going on. I think it's a great platform to be able to reach out to our members and across the country. We have over 23,000 members now, so it's great to be able to give a platform for them to be able to chime in and to listen to some of our candidates that are running for office. With that being said, I wanted to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to say the opening prayer here. Hopefully I could come back and chime in on the questions a little bit later, but with your permission, with the permission of our elders, just wanted to first of all take this time and opportunity to thank each and every one of you guys, thanking our Creator for giving us another blessed day. We just finished celebrating Santa Cruz in most of the communities this weekend, which is the end of our Lent ceremonies. Obviously, for those of you guys who have been following or community participants, a very sad year because we had to make some adjustments in the way we do our ceremonies. But nevertheless, our ceremonies, as many of you know, are a time of reflection, a time of prayer for all of our families, for each and every one of you guys, for our future generations to come. We practice and continue our ceremony. I had the pleasure and honor of having a conversation with our area leadership here in Tucson, who had a concern of us, continuing with our ceremonies. But as most of our traditional leadership met, we did come to a consensus that we were going to minimize, do every effort to minimize and comply with social distancing and minimize, any opportunities where somebody could be ill or fall ill because of not practicing the recommended practices. So I was able to speak with, Ward 3 and Councilman Durham's office, and I did let him know that in our community, for example, and historically, our people, even through times of war, through times of famine, through times of sickness, they've always completed our ceremonies. Even if they weren't at home, they were out in the battlefield in the mountains during their time of leaving and joining the Yaquis here in the United States because of, you know, the wars that were going on. They still continued with their traditional practices, and that, you know, today we were blessed with being able to continue to do so. So I'm glad that our area jurisdictions were able to work with us. And making a long story short, we're here today. We finished our ceremonial prayers this weekend with the end of Santa Cruz Fiesta, praying for all of you, all of our members throughout the country, for those who have lost a loved one because of COVID-19, because of the coronavirus, for those of our members who are ill at the time, and fight the struggle of being ill because of this virus or any other sickness, for that matter. Our prayers go out to them at this time, and wanted to, again, like I said, ask the Creator for His blessings and for His guidance for all of our members, for all of our leadership, for those candidates that are running for office, for those candidates who are seeking re-election, like myself. You know, beginning by thanking our elders and those leaders who have paved the way for us to be able to continue the work for our future generations. It's because of them that we're here today, and I can, you know, ask for the continued blessing for the Creator to open our minds, open our hearts, and as many candidates have expressed in their opening statements, in their letters to the public, you know, to work together to be able to make sure that our future is prosperous. That, you know, we've celebrated 42 years federal recognition, and we've done a lot of great things in these 42 years. And I think with great leadership during all administrations, previous administrations, and those administrations, and tribal councils to come, you know, I ask the Creator for their continued blessing, for His continued blessing, and to be able to lay His guidance, and be able to give the guidance that our elders once preached and taught. Not so much preached, but they taught, and for us to be able to continue the work, you know, their work continuing forward. So with that, you know, wanted to say an opening prayer in the language, and with your permission, with our elders' permission, and with all of our children's permission. Santa Cruz Achetatam, Itam Hunaktam, Itam Bebeherim Vetanasoko, Amen. Señorito Machay, Tecocaticame, Emtem, Tichevasuyori, Waito Yapsane, Emiaroa, Balepo, Embuyapo, Ano, Amantecapono, Machuquito Buano, Yatsumito Mamica, Tuba Lutiane, Tupa Veheria Mecatu Simbuti, La Comti Wotine, Huanacuchis, and then Pusama, Itom Yorito, and Catembetanahani, Amen, Jesus Maria. Santa Maria, Molaba Moite, and Hapsing to the one grass, Santa Tapani, Etoka to Gitum Yachu, Jesus Christ, Chiki Hamuch, Babu Turisi Iowa. So to Yoriwa and Tompuyam to Game Jesus, Santa Aya Catuisi, and Nehuni Vistavicha, Itum Nopriane, Itum Kahoni, Amen, Jesus Maria. Santa Cruz Chetetam, Itum Hunaktam, Itum Bebeherim Betanasoko, Amen. So with that, wanted to thank you. That was Our Father, Hail Mary in our language. And again, that goes to every single family member, community member. We have members all the way up north of Alaska, Fresno area, California, New Mexico, Washington, here, all the way up to the Yaqui. So from my family to yours, much blessings, and thanking the Creator for another day. Muchas gracias. Dios en Chocotese.
Gracias, Chico. Alrighty, with that, Amanda, want to get this started?
Yeah, that'd be great. So if we can move to the next slide. This will be the same format for all of the different forums that we have over the next 2 weeks before early voting starts. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to have these forums during this time, is to make sure we can get some information out before early voting. So we'll be asking 5 questions. Each question is on a different topic, and the different topics that we have are health, education, culture, leadership, and economy. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond And just keep in mind that if you're uncomfortable with the question, you don't have to answer it. And you also don't have to talk for the whole 2 minutes, although 2 minutes really flies by as you're talking. So with that, we will go through the candidate list from the top to the bottom for the people who we've been able to contact today. And we'll go that way. So we'll start from the top and then to the bottom. And then for the next question, we'll go from the bottom to the top. So it's not the same each time. And with that, do you want to ask our first question, Marcos?
Sure. So I believe starting at the top of the list, the first person we have is Miss Catalina Alvarez. You'll be starting with this question first. So just keep in mind real quick on the timer down here, it isn't real time, so it's not going to go second by second. The first time will elapse after 30 seconds, and then it'll kind of give you a countdown intermittently until we go to 0. So first question, how do we address some of our public health problems within the tribe, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Well, that's a loaded question. I think we have programs currently that are doing some of the things that you had asked, like diabetes program, our behavioral health with substance abuse and drug abuse, and our social services that does the poverty part of it. I think enhancing those programs to the outside communities is what is needed. I know that maybe we all live in different jurisdictions, just like in Guadalupe. I think it needs to be enhanced. We don't have all the programs that Tucson has, of course. And I don't know if, like in El Pascua as well, I think we all have a responsibility to be able to, or at least access those programs that are needed for our community members. So I guess just looking for more funding to be able to provide those services to our existing communities, and for providing those activities that will help enhance our community to live a healthier life.
Okay. Anything else, Catalina?
No, I think it's good.
All righty. Thank you for your response. Next on the list that I believe we have, I'm going to go through the list just because I haven't seen who's been joining on and off. So if they're not here, we'll just go to the next one. I don't think number 2 is here. Magdaleno Matus Alvarez. Michael Alvarez. Laura Andrade. Eugenio Baltazar.
Yep, he's here.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same question?
Question is, how do we address some of our public health problems, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty within the tribe?
Well, I know Pasco does have diabetes programs. It's just a matter of getting the people to be actively aware. I know Jeanette does her best to try and get into the community, but as far as that goes, it's basically up to the people. The alcoholism, to me, kind of relates to spirituality. The fact that if we give them something to believe in, maybe they'll quit the drinking and go back to family times, or whether it be excuse me. Look, yeah, right. I'll be right here. Okay. Sorry about that. And the drug abuse, I personally don't like the methadone clinic being there because it just gives them an excuse to, seems like to not clean up, because it seems like some people are always going to that methadone clinic just to get pills and then trade it for, illicit drugs on the streets. And poverty, well, poverty can be solved by simple education. If we have a fully funded educational program, we can eliminate the poverty on the res and all the other 5 pueblos.
Thank you, Mr. Baltazar. Anything else?
No.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list, we have Cesar Buenamea, Mary Jane Buenamea. I have tried to be in contact with them. I'm not sure if they're on the call. I believe so. And then Mr. Jose Raul Cancio, are you on the call?
We also have Gabriel Otero.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and he's taking Tony's place?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll go Gabriel. Gabriel Otero up next. Same question. How do we address some of our public health problems, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty within the tribe?
How I would address it, well, first I want to acknowledge that the diabetes prevention program does a really great job. Since I've been working with the tribe, lots of programs have come out. And of course, it's always good to extend these services to all of our communities. The way I would like to address it is work closely with the health department, Seba Usum programs, Center Spirit programs, and kind of monitor what is needed and what's happening and how it's impacting our tribes and the necessary needs to provide the programs or to fit the services that are needed within our people and for our people, but also build a strong infrastructure for our children at a young age to maybe prevent this, similar to a campaign where we were preventing this. It's kind of like the war on drugs back in the 90s deal, but not in that sense, something more directly towards our culture. So our children could prevent this and maybe not go that route and know that there's other options. Now, when it comes to knowing there's more options, it's about providing opportunity. So I have some ideas in mind that involves youth, more the youth age, but more of a programs that will help them with mental health, getting more involved in media and arts, kind of program. So, they can have a positive outlet, because a lot of the times these issues is because our people don't have a positive outlet, and that's what we need to provide. So, and we're doing a great job in all that, but it's working closely with the health departments to see what areas are kind of gray and we could touch up on. That's it.
Gabriel.
You're welcome.
So next on the list after that would be Miss Vanessa Y. Cruz. Mr. Leonard De Leon. Okay. And Mr. John Escalante, I know you're on the call. I'll just repeat the question again to you. So the question is, how do we address some of our public health problems, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty within the tribe?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, can you guys hear me first of all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would pretty much, because the tribe currently, like Ms. Alvarez mentioned, has a lot of these programs already kind of developed, so that are taking care of pretty much all of these problems like diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty. I think with currently, or even before this pandemic kind of occurred, I think the tribe was moving towards kind of, how do I say, removing a lot of the poverty within the tribe. I know that in New Pascua, that's kind of what I was I have been noticing that because there was a lot of, there's a lot of work, especially in the construction area, where a lot of the members are now able to obtain employment. So I think that, I think if what I would do is just, go in and make sure that I provide, good oversight on a lot of these programs, because like I said, they already, the tribe already has them kind of developed. So definitely need, a lot of oversight just to make sure that they are, working properly, so that we can, definitely offer other services to help the tribal members.
Thank you, Mr. Escalante.
Mhm.
And next, we have Miss Lourdes Escalante.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Did you need me to read the question?
Go for it.
So just to repeat, same question that we've been giving. How do we address some of our public health problems, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty within the tribe?
Okay, so firstly, with diabetes, I am personally, I have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a few years ago. And considering that my family, we were maybe 2 or 3 generations affected by type 2 diabetes. So considering that I have that history, I took it upon myself to reverse it. So a lot of the things that I did were work out, change my diet, as well as decolonize my diet, eat less flour, eat less of the foods that we were given back during the colonial period, during the 1500s, and later, much later than that, because wheat was introduced, I believe in the late 18 and early 1900s to the Yaquis. So, but don't take my word for that, because that's something that we've slowly introduced to generations, and I do understand that our current sedentary lifestyles also does not allow for the weight loss and the way we used to live. So just to speed it up, I'm definitely going to be a leader that's going to show that I'm totally all for health, as well as empowering tribal members who have substance abuse issues, alcoholism and drug abuse, to take accountability for themselves, but offer that support that they need, because they may be facing those intergenerational traumas that our tribe has faced through the generations. And as far as the poverty, knowing that those policies will go in line, the poverty will decrease as well, because once people are empowered, they begin to look at their lives and improve them. So that's my quick little tidbit. Thank you.
Thank you, Lourdes. And next.
Hey, real quick, who has the Galaxy S9? I just want to be able to put their name on the viewer, on their name on this screen here.
Galaxy S9 on Zoom.
Yes, it just has that as their name, and I want to be able to.
I see it. They're muted right now, actually.
Here, they're unmuted now.
Okay.
For the participant with the Galaxy S9, what's your name?
Mateo.
Mateo Flores Jr.
Yes.
I believe that is the last person we have who zoomed in from the first 15 anyway.
It was on there before, then it dropped out.
Okay. We're just updating your name on the screen. Just to make sure real quick. Fidelia Armenta Flores, Philly, are you on the call at all? I don't believe so, but just double checking. Okay, so Mateo Flores Jr., same question that we've been asking the other participants regarding health. How do we address some of our public health problems, including diabetes, alcoholism, drug abuse, and poverty within the tribe?
Well, diabetes is something that families aren't totally aware of. I myself didn't know my family history as far as diabetes until I was in my late teens, early 20s. So our younger generations need to be told that they're susceptible to that. So that way it'll make more sense when you try to teach them to eat healthy and make good choices. Stay away from all the pasta and everything else and sweet bread that we're so accustomed to. That's where it all starts. Without that, it's going to continue on the way it is right now. And we're not the only tribe like that. A lot of American tribes do suffer from diabetes because of a poor diet. And that's the utmost importance. As far as the poverty, our ancestors came to the United States and made their lives by melding in with society that we're in. So they were successful. They weren't rich, but they had a good life. And I think that needs to be instilled on the young people as they grow up, that you don't need to settle for minimum. No, you go out there and you can compete with the rest of them, the rest of society, and do well. Our people are smart. I think everybody knows that. So they can excel, they can succeed, but they need that drive instilled in them to be able to do that. Now, the alcohol and drug abuse, sadly enough, growing up, alcohol was a daily thing in my neighborhood, in my family, and at ceremonies. So the mindset is there young, at a very early age. And that's something that maybe we can change through education. But again, it is a personal choice. And you can't force anybody not to drink. All you can do is encourage them to limit their drink as much as possible or even cut it out altogether. But that's a hard thing to do when you grow up seeing this every day, every weekend.
Thank
So
you,
that's
Mr.
where it starts.
Flores. Thank you.
Welcome.
Amanda, do we want to go on to question number 2?
Yes. And I just want to quickly address something. We've been trying to figure out what's the best way to show everybody the question and also show the participants or the candidates the timer, and also show everybody on live the candidates' faces while they're talking. So we've been experimenting on how to do that. And I know we're getting some feedback on wanting to see more of the candidates' faces, and also so knowing that it's helpful for the candidates to be able to see the timer and possibly for people to be able to see the question while they're talking. So I really just want to thank you for your patience as we figure this out. So with that, we're gonna go through to the second question. And I know this is a learning process for all of us. So the second question is, and we will start, as I mentioned, from the bottom up again. So we'll start with Mr. Mateo Flores again. So our second question is on education. The question is, we have hundreds of tribal members with experience across many different sectors, including law, medicine, and engineering. What will you do to recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
It's impossible for everybody to work for the tribe. I think that needs to be said. But we need education so our people can succeed, as I said before. There's nothing that substitutes for education. Experience takes a while, and they can learn a skill, a valuable skill. That goes along with education. So to be successful, you don't necessarily need a 4-year degree. No, you can be trained in a technical field and be very successful. So I think there has to be a median in there somewhere where the stress is on a person's aptitude and abilities to be able to maximize uh, their person so they can go out and make a living and have a good life. Uh, Anything short of that, we're failing as a tribe to instill that in our members. They have to know that. Getting an education and working for the tribe is good if you can find a position. But reality is, most of the time, you have to work outside of the reservation. And that's something that has to be stressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. So we will go next to Lourdes Escalante. All right, I'll go ahead and read the question again.
Yes.
I'll also start from the second part. So we have hundreds of tribal members with experience across many different sectors, including law, medicine, and engineering. What will you do to recruit, grow, and attract possible Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so what will I do to recruit, grow, and attract more tribal professionals from across the land? So it's true, we do have tribal citizens who are majoring in so many things. And we also have tribal members who have completed vocational work as well. So one huge goal that I have is to effectively connect those tribal members to the departments and programs and all the even the policy making that we do. So if we can employ them or start them off in an internship while they are completing their degrees, they're going to have maybe 6 months to a year of work experience already. Therefore, if a lot of these job descriptions require X amount of experience in these fields, right? So ensuring that we bring those students in while they're studying law or medicine, and bringing them in is going to make them more effective once they are officially employed. So giving them that test run while they're students as interns, even as paid interns, if we can do that, that would be excellent. Then we can ensure that we're bringing in other tribal members, right? So with that in mind, it's also important to ensure that we also beef up higher education scholarships, especially the graduate scholarships, because grad school is not cheap. So like when I went to law school in Michigan, tuition was $22,000 a semester. And currently the U of A, as an undergrad, to get your bachelor's degree a semester, it's about $7,000. So keep that in mind, that we also need to, in order for us to reach those goals of connecting our students to these programs and back to the Pasco Yaqui tribe as interns or as employees, we also need to beef up those scholarships. That way they can comfortably complete those degrees, because a lot of us end up getting into debt because of the higher education scholarships. They can't really offer as much assistance as we would hope, because I've been in that position already, and I have scholarships. Awesome, thank you.
Sorry, we took the timer off.
That's all right.
I had to give the people what they want. They said they want to see your faces, so. So our next candidate is John Escalante. Okay, I will go ahead and read the question again.
Okay.
So we have hundreds of tribal members with experience across many different sectors, including law, medicine, and engineering. What will you do to recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
Right. So I've kind of I've already kind of worked or tried to work down that road when I was previously on council. It is kind of difficult. It is challenging because, like mentioned prior, before me, there aren't very many jobs available for those that are just coming out of school. So it is probably the biggest challenge. But at the same time, I think a lot of the tribal members that have come out of college and have obtained employment right after college, it's hard sometimes for them to get used to this type of environment, because it is very difficult. And if and there's sometimes situations that they might fall into where it's kind of it's kind of like throwing them into like a fire pit. There's no sometimes there's not good guidance for them, or there's no peer support or things like that, because if you're a tribal member, you're treated differently, especially if you are in a leader position or a leader role. So a lot of the employees here that work currently for the tribe already are used and are accustomed to a certain culture and certain ways of how they are working day to day. So it is hard for them to adjust. So that's one of the challenges I think that I would try to change.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Gabriel Otero.
Hello. Oh, go ahead, repeat the question.
What will you do to recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
Well, I want to acknowledge the workforce development. It's such a good program. They have the youth work in the summer area within the tribes. And I think that gives the youth an idea of what they want to do in the future, just an opportunity to try something new. And that's one thing I believe is providing opportunities so the youth, once they get to higher education, they kind of have an idea what they pursue. So I had mentioned a youth program that I had in mind earlier, and I was thinking of wanting to use Ritchie Resource Center as a hub for all our youth programs. And in this hub, they'll use the cafeteria as a venue, and they'll learn how to make flyers, promote, take photos. Let's see, they can learn booking, sound engineering, and all those skills. And a lot of those skills they hire at the casino. You need the promoter, you need the person booking the bands. And of course, like everyone's saying, not everyone's going to get those jobs, but I feel it'll also inspire the youth to pursue higher education in those areas. Like I said, the opportunities, it's about knowing what's out there. And a lot of youth, they just don't know what's out there. And once they know what's out there, or it can be presented to them, they have an idea more or less if that's what they want to do in life. If the only thing they see is what they know, then that's what they're going to continue to do. So it's about providing opportunities. And I would like to use Ritchie as a resource center, as a concert venue where they can promote their own bands, their local bands. They can even charge at the door and promote their own money and do those type of things. And then on the weekdays, we could use it as the center for tutoring and skills and stuff like that. Maybe have some guest speakers come and talk about, certain interests that they have. But yes, that's what I would do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Eugenio Baltazar. So same question. What will you do to recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
Well, in order to recruit, there has to be positions open. And right now, frankly, there isn't that many job openings on the tribe for the skills that you are saying about engineering and law. So I think the tribe should instill from an early age, create a college accredited school so that all kids from all 5 pueblos can go to it. So when they get out of that college accredited school, they won't have to pay as much to go to the U of A because they'll already have college credit to put towards that. And basically, it's just basically getting them ready for, a life outside the tribe. Because I would like to read one day, that proud member of Bosque Yaqui tribe helped develop time warp technology somewhere off in NASA. And what was the other part to it?
It was recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals.
Oh, I would also like to create full-fledged scholarships for our people. I mean, I don't see why the tribe can, fully fund full scholarships to a profession of their, our members' choice. I mean, if they can find money to build a multi-million-dollar casino, then we can find the money to, fully fund a member's college education. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you. The next candidate that we have is, let's see, Catalina Alvarez. Okay, and the question is, what will you do to recruit, grow, and attract Pascua Yaqui tribal professionals from across the land to commit to working for our tribe?
I think right now, being on previous council, I know that along with Mr. Escalante, I don't think the tribe has an infrastructure to really recruit tribal members into positions. Right now, I know that we had tried to develop a deputy director position to work our tribal members to eventually be the directors in certain departments. But I think we need to enforce and really look at the infrastructure of HR to be able to provide those abilities to have paid interns in the tribe, to be able to try to get people back into working at the tribe, and also providing those competitive pay, because a lot of our tribal members that might be working as nurses or doctors or in high paying positions might not want to work at the tribe because we don't necessarily we're not at a competitive pay with them. So looking at the infrastructure to be able to provide and to actually attract those tribal members to come back. But and with that also is just going back to the basics and looking at what resources are we providing to them, like giving them the tools and incentives to actually get in those fields and actually to gaining those skills to be able to work not only at the tribe but anywhere, because we need those individuals to work at the state, federal level. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we can move on to our next question. Do you want to take that over, Marcos?
Sure. So, one second. And this will be starting with you again, Catalina, actually. So the next question is regarding tribal culture. So the question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so they are able to protect and retain the tribe's language, culture, and history?
I think hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, it just flicked on my phone. I think it's providing the department, well, they're doing some sort already, but I think to enhance it is to try to get more of our tribal members that speak the language involved in all the communities. Because I know that right now, we don't necessarily have a good language and culture in Guadalupe or maybe in Coolidge or surrounding areas. But I think in providing them the tools that they need, even the budget that they need to be able to get those people to actually help our tribal members learn the ceremonies, to learn their language, and to actually be involved with the community in the ceremonial part and as a culture.
Thank you, Catalina. Next on the list, we have Eugenio Baltazar. The question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so they are able to protect and retain our language, culture, and history?
This is one area I'm kind of weak on, and from what I've witnessed, I know a couple young guys there that participate in the ceremonies, and it does seem like we have more younger people participating as well. But I can't really speak on it too much because I don't know what they're teaching them in there because I'm not part of any society. But what I see the most problem is the language starting to disappear. And there needs to be some sort of set written book on how the language is supposed to be spoken. And in order for our people to retain it, it can't just be verbally taught. It has to be written down on some sort of official Yaqui book, I would say. And then I would hate to say it, but it seems like we don't have time for that, and maybe create some kind of incentive that encourages them to learn language.
Anything else, Mr. Baltazar?
No.
Thank you. Next, I believe Mr. Gabriel Otero, you are up again. The question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so that they are able to protect and retain our language, culture, and history?
Well, through media. It's a thin line between teaching traditional ways and media because, we're taught no photos, no recording. So with the permission of our elders and the Department of Language and Culture, we got to find this area where, okay, we can talk about Santa Cruz and make a little video of it, but not get into detail. We got to distinguish this line there. But yeah, so I think that's a big way, and that's going to keep our younger participants or our younger kids and younger generation more involved when they see the deer dancer on YouTube or something like that, because that's the new world we're living in. But we still got to teach our customs and our traditions in the traditional ways, word of mouth. Where we're at the ceremonies, no photos there, no recording there. So that's definitely one route we should go. And of course, like I said, with the permission of our elders, we have to distinguish this line. And it'll also be cool to see online Yaqui classes so all our tribal members can have access to them. I believe the Department of Language and Culture they're right there at that point where they can be able to provide that services. And at this time, look, all of us are using Zoom. This is my second, some of you guys, your first time, but we're learning how to do it. And I think we can do something like this for language, where a class is offered, or how to play the guitar and the harp is offered online. So that would be something cool to see, because we'll be able to get all the communities involved with that through the internet. So yeah, that will really help us as a people to connect and stay connected with our language, our culture, and all of that. So through media.
Thank you, Gabriel.
You're welcome.
Next, we have I think we're at Mr. John Escalante.
Okay.
So the question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so that they are able to protect and retain our language, culture, and history?
Okay. Yeah, I think unfortunately, like for culture and language, when you look at the whole scheme of how the tribe provides its funding to all of the, to the departments, language and culture always kind of ends up at the bottom of the totem pole. So definitely, their funding and their budgets would need to increase in order to go towards a lot of like the new media stuff that Mr. Gabriel was speaking about. And yeah, those are all definitely good good ideas and things that would definitely work, especially with the younger generation that's more into this type of stuff. This too is probably my second time on Zoom, so it's a new world for me. But normally, how I don't necessarily know or speak fluently, but I know how to or understand certain things, and I learned that through just participation and just listening to those elders. So yeah, for sure, that's kind of one of the things that we would have to look at is how do we better fund that department.
Thank you, Mr. Baltazar, or Mr. Escalante. Sorry, I'm one off. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Next, Lourdes Escalante. The question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so they're able to protect and retain our language, culture, and history?
So can you hear me?
Yes,
Just
we
making
can.
sure. Okay, awesome. So how would I ensure that they can reach or they can be supported essentially? So I do have to give them a huge shout out because they have come out with videos on social media and they're extremely informative. I know that especially when it comes to language, the language videos that they have been coming out are absolutely amazing. And that's notably because I help run the Yaqui community news page. It's, of course, I'm not associated with this forum, but along with other administrators, we help share their content. It's amazing. So that seed has been planted. The only thing now is to move it forward as far as ensuring that other tribal members, like let's say in California, other tribal members like in Pinal County, those that feel that they don't get enough attention, especially in terms of learning the culture, learning the history, learning the language, the Department of Language and Culture does need to get that support. So I'm sure that now that they're learning how to use YouTube and whatnot, they need support from the next tribal leadership to get that moving forward and beyond what they've started with. So I do know that they've done an amazing job, and I'm constantly applauding that. So keeping in mind, learning how we used to eat traditionally as well, that I'm going to keep, mentioning that because the Department of Language and Culture, they've planted that seed, but now we need to start working out of silos, if you know what I mean. That way the Department of Language and Culture can bring back traditional eating. It'll help the diabetes and prevention program as well. And of course, it's going to bring more employment because we're a tribe that's trying to self-sustain and nation build. So that's my quick little blurb. I can't, how do you say it? I just can't get over how awesome they've been doing so far and how they've created so much outreach, especially through social media. All right, so that's the quick little blurb. Thank you.
Thank you, Lourdes. Last for this question, it's Senor Mateo Flores Jr. The question is, how do you plan to support the tribe's Department of Language and Culture so they are able to protect and retain our language, culture, and history?
First off, the young people now learn technology very young. So they are very capable of learning online. And I think the language department has to stress that and make it available online. A lot of times kids are too busy to really go to formal classes in the evening, but they can sit at home, get on a website and learn phrases, words, or whatever they want to learn. That'll go a long way for our children, and me too, for that matter, to learn the language. So emphasis has to be on the technology available. There's a lot of it. I mean, they've done a lot, but a lot more can be done. And of course, it takes money. But culture seems to be related to the language, when really culture involves the ceremonies that we're involved in. They're all personal sacrifices. And sometimes participants lose sight of that. So we need to reestablish that connection between personal sacrifice and our ceremonies, which is a big part of our culture. So we need to re-educate the younger people on that topic. So that way it'll have more meaning and they'll have a better understanding of why we do what we do. So I think along those lines, I would support the language department in doing that, educating our people on our culture, not just language. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. So with that, we're moving on to our next question, which will be involving leadership. Amanda, ready to take this one?
Yeah, thank you. And here we'll start again with Mr. Flores. So the question is, the tribe recently suffered an IT cyber attack and is currently dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges, and what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during these times? Well, one moment, I'm sorry, you're muted. We'll start your time over again.
Okay,
All
ready?
right. Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Like I say, it's difficult to anticipate what has happened. I mean, who knew the virus was going to come around? Who knew the economy is going to do what it's going to do? It's impossible. But I think in our case, because we rely on the casino so much, and that can't be understated, we have to take a good look how we're handling those assets. I mean, the casino makes over $1 billion a year. Why are we just getting a fraction of that money? It doesn't take billions and billions of dollars to run a casino. So our shortcomings are part of the management's problem over there. We need to get a better handle on the casino monies and get a better idea of where they go. As far as the tribe, we're limited resources. I wish we had all the money we needed, but we don't. So we have to find as many grants that we can to sustain the tribe, government and state both. I think we deserve it, and that should be stressed. Of course, Washington doesn't necessarily listen to us, but that's all right. As long as we keep voicing our opinions, maybe more money will come our way, and we'll be able to support our people a lot better. But there's only so much infrastructure the reservation needs. We need to take a look at that as well. Are we spending too much? Not so much building things, it's the upkeep, years and years of upkeep that are going to tie down the tribe and deplete the resources if we're not careful. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we will go to Lourdes Escalante. One moment, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is, the tribe recently suffered an IT cyber attack and is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis currently. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges, and what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during these times?
Firstly, historically, according to American history, this does happen. History does tell us that pandemics do occur, and take into consideration that we are a relatively young tribe, we didn't quite see this coming. But with IT and with preparing for a future situation like this, the one thing that I'm very much advocating for is traditional farming. So like currently what I'm dealing with at home, I'm working from home, but I'm also growing my own food. So a lot of tribal members can definitely take advantage of that, and teaching our traditional ways of farming, teaching our traditional ways of eating, and that's also exercise, you know what I mean? So doing that and instilling, the fact that we're an incredibly resilient tribe. I mean, we dealt with a genocide about 100 years ago. So now we're here, and we can definitely recover from this COVID-19 pandemic. And with the cybersecurity issue, I worked at the Udall Foundation a few years ago, and they are a federal, like an NGO, and they ensured that I took like the cybersecurity type of courses. Otherwise, they're not going to let me on the computer. They said it doesn't matter. You need to refresh your training and how you use a computer all the time, because things are always changing. So as far as phishing, as far as making sure that we as far as making sure that we prepare our employees and make sure that we deal with those reoccurring issues, because just like pandemics, cybersecurity is always dealing with those, what is it called, like the intrusion, as far as the viruses. Those issues are always occurring, and that's something that the tribe needs to be on top of all the time. And we're capable, fully capable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Next, we have John Escalante. Where? Okay, and I'll read the question again. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges like the IT cyber attack and the COVID-19 crisis? And what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during these times?
Okay. Yeah, with the pandemic that is occurring right now, I think, I would, commend the way this tribal council currently has handled the situation, because it is, I'm sure, stressful for them, as far as making sure that everyone is safe and looked after. So yeah, I commend them for their work. As far as the cyber breach, or the security on IT that was breached, that was definitely unfortunate for the tribe. I would not cast any blame on the current tribal council or the IT department, but definitely for a leader, I think you would probably need to, again, I like to stress oversight. I think if tribal council, or if I was back on tribal council, that's one of the things that I would definitely make sure to do more of is make sure that you provide that oversight and work with IT to make sure that they have all the tools and everything necessary to make sure that we are safe from those type of attacks, because it did. I'm sure it costed us a lot of money and time. So yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Next, we have Gabriel Otero. The question is the tribe recently suffered an IT cyber attack and is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges, and what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during these times?
Okay, well, IT department, since that cyber attack, they have been doing more things like Lourdes said, trainings online that we got to do. So hopefully that'll prevent anything like that from happening again. As far as this COVID crisis, it was really unexpected. And, you know, we got to acknowledge everyone going through this and all our leaders, our tribal council, because this is a lot to deal with. But I feel like it's time to get something in place with our city, state officials, some type of preservation acts, not only for our tribe, but for all tribes. So if something like this would happen, you know, we will be somewhat on the list. You know, we can't go instinct over crisis or a pandemic. You know, we got to live. You know, we have been nearly wiped out, a lot of our nations, and we can't risk that anymore. So we should have some type of state agreement that if anything like this would happen or occur again, we will get the necessities we need, medical supplies right away, masks right away, that type of deal. But it can be a different pandemic. This is all new. So it had to be written in detail in a case of this, in a case of this, in a case of that. So we won't slip through the cracks if this were to happen again. And I'll also like to research a little bit afterwards to see how this impacted us as a people, and how we can adapt and make changes from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Eugenio Baltazar. Okay, Mr. Baltazar, the question is, the tribe recently suffered an IT cyber attack and is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis currently. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges, and what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during these times?
Well, for one, I feel like as if the tribe should but invest more into the IT department, you know, going back to school, because cyber threats are evolving every day. It's not just, you know, one type of virus that, you know, affects computers. I would like to send them like once a year so they can keep up to date on constant new threats, so it doesn't paralyze the services rendered on the reservations or for our people. And for COVID-19, well, I feel like as if the casino could play a bigger part in this, as in buying excess amount of supplies. So when something like this does happen, we will have the excess of water, the excess of toilet paper, the excess of food, you know, to hand out to our people in particular.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Catalina Alvarez. All right, so the question is, the tribe recently suffered an IT cyber attack and is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis right now. How can the tribe prepare to address future challenges, and what have we learned about how we serve tribal constituents during this time?
Well, I'm glad that the tribe is looking, especially now that what had happened with the COVID-19, the virus. I think one of the things that I'm pretty sure the tribe has an emergency response team, but I think they need to elaborate that by including not only the frontline people and employees, but also community members, to be able to actively and really tackle on whatever whatever it is that's coming on board, because if you don't have those lay people that actually can do and know their communities more, it's not going to happen. I think this last time that the tribe had a cyber attack, a lot of the miscommunication between Tucson and Guadalupe and their phone system and what was available or what was not, I think needed to be better communicated. So I think communication is a big part of this, is making sure that the community knows what, that there is a group that is being prepared or is prepared for, to be able to handle these kind of threats, but also to know, to let the community know who do they need to contact, because a lot of times with this, just perfect example, like with in our community, maybe tribal members didn't know who to contact if they were in need of food or not. But I think those resources need to be put out there and better communicated to our constituents. And also, like Gabriel and even John said, investing in our IT department. I mean, it might not, the world's constantly changing. We need to update our IT system to make sure that we don't fall in those threats again, and for this not to happen. And if it does happen, that the tribe can recover faster than what it did before. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I will pass it over to Marcos to ask the final question.
Thanks, Amanda. So starting with the final question, it'll begin with Ms. Catalina Alvarez again. The topic is economy. The question is, many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest, and how would you create jobs, economic development, and secure our most important programs?
Maya now?
Yep.
Okay. I think, well, personally for me, when I say diversify economy, I think we rely too much on the casino, thinking that it's going to be our fix to all. But I think we need to look at other investments within our other communities, either by putting different stores or developing like a housing association or something that will diversify our economy, so we won't rely on only on the casino funds. I know that there's probably tribal members that want to get into businesses and actually investing in them to be able to franchise some companies for us, or to actually lease our land to be able to move forward the tribe. I mean, the tribe doesn't have to put all the money in all the time. We have the land, we have that we can probably collaborate with somebody for them to come and build things for us, for them to come and actually take the risk on for the tribe, and we still get benefited from that. So I think, and creating those kind of infrastructures for that to happen, and also putting in those infrastructures a way to be able to have our tribal members to actually work in those locations. And just look at other things besides thinking that the casino can be all, because there's looking at other tribes and how they actually move forward, and besides the casino, and seeing what we can offer our surrounding community, our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarez.
Mhm.
Next, we have Mr. Eugenio Baltazar. The question is, many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest, and how would you create jobs, create economic development, and secure our most important programs?
Well, the economy is pretty tricky because there's always key moments in when to invest into something. And seems like right now the tribe should invest in some sort of real estate because of the housing crisis that's happening here in Arizona. I mean, if the tribe can create apartments, we can kill two birds with one stone, create housing for our people, and then, bring income from that as well. And then, I mean, that's just one idea. And then I would like to create some kind of industry that pays really high, whether it be like manufacturing for, like Raytheon right here. We could manufacture maybe the chips or something like that along those lines, and encourage our people to, to study, engineering and computer science or something like that to create that effect. So when we're done here, they can seek jobs elsewhere and not just be limited here to Tucson itself.
Thank you, Mr. Baltazar. Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Gabriel Otero. The question is, many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest and how would you create jobs, create economic development, and secure our most important programs?
I'm kind of a big dreamer here, but it's not so far off a dream. We have great grant writers and a great Attorney General's office that can make ideas happen. But I know while we're waiting for the Century 16 land to get entrusted, I think it would be cool to do something like a Del Sol outdoor mall, and it'll be like a Del Sol outlets, and we can promote it with the resort, and it'll be a place where the teenagers can get dropped off, go to the movie, go bowling, and then the parents are there at the casino, and it's just a 15-minute drive. But then also with that will create jobs in retail and give and that type of field. But imagine going into an outdoor mall and it looks like how Del Sol looks inside, but it's really outdoors. So it's keeping the same theme and marking our territory in Tucson, like we're here, this is us. So I think that'd be a cool idea. But on top of that, behind this this building, we could have a warehouse and maybe try to find a way to get into the distribution business. So now we have warehouse employees, a CDL license, where we have truck drivers and all that. I mean, that's a big dream, and it probably will take years to happen, but just that's just one idea of plenty. You got to stay fresh with the times and think of many different economic developments that are possible. I really like how we started the Sonoran contractor company. That was a really cool, different approach. So yeah, we can do whatever we can put our minds to, and I want to shout out the attorney generals and all our grant writers who do a great job that help us keep on moving forward in our developments. That's it.
Next, we have Mr. John Escalante. The question is, many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest and how would you create jobs, create economic development, and secure our most important programs?
Yeah, for sure. I think economic development is, one of the things that I think not only me as a candidate, but I think all of the candidates, are those are one of the things that they definitely are first on their list as trying to fulfill, their objective. But yeah, the tribe right now is definitely, for example, if you're looking at Valencia Road, there's a lot of traffic that goes down that road. The same with in Guadalupe, you have that area that has a lot of potential for economic development, and I think the challenge is how do you find the capital, to build these things, and that kind of goes back to, developing, these students that are graduating from college you know, to come in and assist with those type of things. How can they help the tribe in finding these type of funds? You know, that's kind of one of the biggest challenge I think that the tribe has right now is how do we, you know, gain more capital to start these projects. I think the tribe has been a leader, you know, in developing certain things like casino. The casino is definitely a big attraction. But yeah, we need more. We need more of that. You know, we can start with nonprofits, you know, organizing nonprofits and getting people trained on developing, you know, these type of, you know, economic development. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Escalante.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Lourdes Escalante. The question is, many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest and how would you create jobs, create economic development, and secure our most important programs?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so diversifying the economy. So I know one topic or one business that the tribe has been relatively reluctant to invest in is marijuana. So one successful tribe is the Suquamish. So they actually created a compact between the state of Washington to begin the cultivation in the growing of marijuana, because marijuana is a huge industry. I'm sure many of you already know that medical marijuana it's an essential business currently. So that could have been, you know, a business that the tribe could have invested in, but that's something that the tribe should start investing in, because it's definitely very popular with, you know, the greater state of Arizona. So by doing that, it would be really important for the tribe to start networking with other tribes, such as the Suquamish, because they obviously have the legal brains to start that. And I understand that one of the problems is the tribe may face an issue with the federal government in terms of losing certain federal grants. That's, you know, where the lawyers come in. That's where networking with other tribes that have successfully created this industry within their tribes is extremely important. So if we can network with those tribes and maybe even get a loan from them so we can start that up and create this network, we can start supplying other jobs for tribal members. We can start bringing in that money. Another important thing that PYT needs to invest in is passive income. So getting like other homes and maybe flipping them, turning them into bigger homes, or, you know, adding more values, such as adding a pool, for example. Starting to rent these homes out to non-tribal members would be an awesome way to create passive income, because then we don't really have to put much into it. So while diversifying and including passive income, we'll have that stream of income coming in. And then, okay,
Bye.
awesome. No, it's all right. Thank you.
Next, we have Senor Mateo Flores. Many candidates talk about the need to diversify our economy. Where would you invest? How would you create jobs, create economic development, and secure our most important programs?
Well, first of all, to diversify, the tribe needs money. And that's the biggest problem, I guess, with anything. If you don't have the funds to establish a business, it's not going to happen. So how can we do that? Well, we have to take a serious look at what the tribe is spending their money on, and look for grants for projects that can be done at minimal expense. Because if we diversify and the tribe has to maintain it, they're going to lose money. So we're going to spend more than the original project cost. It'll provide jobs, no doubt, hopefully to all tribal members, but realistically, we're limited as far as funds. To diversify is going to encumber a lot of those funds. So we have to consider how much the tribal members are going to lose and how much we expect to gain out of any business that we try to establish. So it's a big picture. It's easy to come up with ideas. Stock market, I don't think so. But a serious look needs to be done into the prospects in Tucson. Phoenix probably be easier only because there's so many more people, so many more opportunities. But Tucson's a little different. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. What will work? That's why you look into it and see what can be done. And at this point, I think we need to. And hopefully we can start a business or an enterprise that will self-sustain and contribute to the tribe overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Oh, by the way, my first name doesn't have an R.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be a typo just on our end. That's our bad. Mr. Mateo Flores.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't want to confuse myself.
It's understandable. So with that, that's going to conclude our questions for this first Q&A forum with candidates 1 through 15. There will be subsequent Q&A sessions. I saw a couple people in the comments mentioning not seeing all the candidates. Rest assured, in the future forums, we're just kind of trying to make it smaller and breaking it down in groups of 15 so that we can give everyone their time to talk and answer all the questions. Otherwise, I think we made pretty good on time today. Hopefully we'll try to stick to that in the future as well. Amanda, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I just, we have it on the slide up here. I hope you guys can see it. But the next Q&A forum will be on Wednesday, May 6th. So that's this Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. With candidates 16 through 30. We're still trying to contact the following people just to see if we can get them confirmed for Wednesday. So if anybody has any contact with them, please let us know. And we also really want to give a big, huge thank you to and good job to all the first candidates to go this time around. I feel like it's really sometimes hard to be the first person to go. And so you guys did a really great job. So yeah, with that, we'd just like to say thank you. If you have any other questions that you would possibly like us to add to the list or just keep a rolling list so everybody can see afterwards, just go ahead and put that in the comments. And we're encouraging all the candidates to put their information in the comment section so you all can have a good place to go and find their information.
Yeah, just like Amanda said, if you guys haven't already, I think I saw a few of you do it already. Your websites or any other pages you guys want people to be able to see, just drop it in the comments for this video and everyone will have a good spot to go to for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too. Thank you, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Have a good night.